In the Pursuit of Truth, Tao Li, Chapter 1, Home, Part 2. Turning the clock back 12 years to 1956, the way D.R.'s parents moved into the Western-style apartment was as dramatic as the way they just moved out. Well, obviously, the circumstances of moving in and moving out were quite different. But there was a common denominator. Neither was the outcome of his parents' own planning. The prestigious medical school where D.R.'s father taught was located at the Southern District, just outside the old concession region. Next to it was an apartment complex with several rows of townhouse-style two-story buildings, each containing 4 residential units. Residents were mostly doctors working in the medical school. The housing there was considered modern because they had painted wood floor, flush toilets, and porcelain tops. The only drawback was that piped gas was not available in that general location. D.R. had particularly fond feelings about that residence where his first childhood memory started. The living space was generous. Outside the first floor screen door was a fenced yard, large enough to set up a ping-pong table and chairs on both sides for spectators. From the second-floor balcony facing south, he enjoyed a clear view of the main buildings of the medical school. The imperial palace-style roofs covered with glazed golden tiles were truly magnificent. One day, D.R. was playing games of kicking cans with other boys outside, and then 2 well-dressed men arrived. They knocked at the door of his home unit and were ushered in by the housemaid. D.R. was curious and followed in. They were party officials at the Shanghai municipality in charge of the work of the United Front. They sat down with D.R.'s parents. Tea and candies were served, as they were for almost any guests. After exchanging a few words of courtesy, the middle-aged man pivoted the conversation to the purpose of their visit. You may know that Premier Zhou has recently spoken on the importance of improving the living and working conditions of the intellectuals. To implement the policy, we would like to ask you to consider moving to a better living quarter in the city, a more comfortable place. D.R.'s father replied, "We are pretty comfortable here. Thanks for your kind concern, but we have not thought about moving to another place." But the official was persistent. "Professor, you are an intellectual asset of the country. The living conditions here do not match your status. We know you spend a lot of time at home, writing books and research papers, and also having academic discussions with your colleagues. You really deserve more space with better amenities." "I'm used to the surroundings here. It is next to the main campus and a 20 minutes walk to the hospital." Father still hesitated to accept the offer. "But there is little room for negotiation. We will make some arrangement for you and your wife to see a few modern apartments not far from the hospital. We are sure you will find what you like." "Professor, we hope you will accept the offer. It is the party's policy and our job to see it happen." That was how the conversation ended. After the officials parted, D.R.'s parents looked at each other, excited yet bewildered. "Let us see where they want to move us," Mother said. The housing search began in the area of Western District, where the old French concession used to be. The Empire Mansion was modern and spacious, but too noisy, facing a main street where tram was still operating. Another apartment nearby was nice and quiet, but it did not have balcony. Finally, they were led along a boulevard with tall French plane trees on the sidewalks. Inside an iron gate was a passage through a huge garden with a marble fountain at the corner. On the 6th floor was a large apartment waiting for them to see. The unit had 4 large bright rooms, over 20 square meters each, 2 bedrooms, a dining room, and a study. The hardwood floor was newly waxed and shined. They noticed a few new and attractive features. The full bathroom had a hot water heater. The kitchen was equipped with a gas stove, and there was an additional half bathroom for the guests. The building was over 20 years old, and the boiler for the building had long ceased operating for the lack of coal supply. So there was no functioning central heating system, and the steam heating radiators were rusty. Other than that, it was as contemporary as it could be in 1950s Shanghai. After all, the late 30s and 40s were the years of Japanese invasion and the civil war between the nationalists and the communists, and high-rise residential construction in the city came to a halt. The landscape of Shanghai remained basically unchanged until the 90s. DR's parents decided to take it. It was a gift, and you were not supposed to be too picky. So, after 3 showings, it was about time to come to a conclusion. Before DR realized what was happening, a group of employees from his father's hospital came with a large truck. The moving was completed in the same day without a glitch. DR was barely 10, and in the first few weeks as a new resident, his favorite pastime after school was horizon gazing from the balcony. With his young and sharp eyesight, the glittering old medical school's golden roofs were still clearly visible under the sunshine, although it was a few kilometers away in the south. With the aid of toy binoculars, he enjoyed watching the planes ascending or descending just before the horizon at a distant airport near a pagoda. There was no smog then, at least at that area of Shanghai, and the view was spectacular. DR's parents, of course, had other priorities. They spent time getting acquainted with a more diversified neighborhood, composed of famous writers, scientists, and artists, as well as some high-ranking government officials. Mother was pleased that the location was close to the commercial district and shopping centers. Father was obviously in a good mood as well. He consulted his friend and purchased a record player, and along with it a few microgroove records of classical music. The list included Beethoven's symphonies, Strauss' waltzes, and Tchaikovsky's ballads, and so on. Scene of the past flashed before DR's eyes like some old movies. It was comic as much as it was terrible. He began to feel his small den suffocating and decided to go out to visit a close friend, J.L., who lived nearby in a typical Shanghai alleyway apartment. They were in the same middle school, and J.L. was a few years senior. They liked to talk about what was going on in the country and in the world. Their conversation, unlike that of most teenagers, could be damn serious in contents, in the spirit of finding truth and the meaning of life. J.L. said, "I'm surprised you stayed in that high-rise building as long as you did. In this world of madness, whoever is in charge of your father's institution appeared to be trying to put off the revolutionary action until the last moment they felt they had to." It was not clear whether J.L. truly believed that, or he just tried to offer some consolation. But D.R.'s main concern was looking ahead, whether things would get any worse for his parents. Finally, J.L. asked, "Why did your parents decide to stay put on the mainland when the communists came and took over in 1949?